Was feeling fancy this rising, y'all. And they are making so much noise. Sending love. I see my sisters. Peace, Sacred Woman Practitioner Lorraine, Sacred Woman Jonelle. Peace, peace, Janelle. All right, we're just letting family members in the door. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And we'll just continue to monitor the door. Continue to allow those of us that are rising with us in community today to come on in. So, with that said, we'll just get started with our introduction. Would you like to start?
Ashe, Ashe.
Sure.
So, Divine Rising, I am Wellness Warrior James Poke. And I'm looking forward to a great new 21-day uh, detox and rebirth of this season.
Yeah.
And this is,
I'm Tanasia Poke. I'm a sacred woman practitioner. James and I together are the founders of the Divine Collective Uprising. It's a wellness community, holistic wellness community that's really rooted in finding family and
mm,
kinship with those who are just seekers of the truth and alignment and true camaraderie, right?
yeah, yeah.
And we are also the authors of The Alchemy of Shadow Work, Sacred Relationships Unveiled, which was really a gift to us
Mm,
from the divine through our sacred journey and as a union. So
mm.
we have our journeys individually, but then also the journey of our union, which has actually brought us to this moment today.
Yes, 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 yes. It's definitely been a journey. I never knew that we would even write something like this,
Yeah.
right? It's definitely something that the Most High blessed us with. And now we are sharing it with the
Yeah.
world and kind of journeying through it.
Ashe, Ashe. And doing so with a really grateful heart, to
Mm,
be quite honest.
yes.
James and I were not the people, or ever thought we were the people who would be sitting here speaking to anyone about anything, right? And I don't know if any of you share in that, I guess we can call it a bit of imposter syndrome that sometimes we have a season of in our lives, where you just don't think that you've been rooted enough in anything to really be the carrier of it
Hmm.
or even the bearer of stewarding it to someone else. But we recognize that, it's really not about us.
Yeah.
And when we harbor the message that the divine is trying to use us to communicate, we're doing a disservice not only to ourselves, but to those we're supposed to be here to serve. So
So,
we lean into it, whether it's uncomfortable or not. And we have found that we've grown more comfortable because we recognize that in the light that has been placed inside of us by the divine, we get to illuminate it in others and expand our own family, right? Our own community to therefore have likeness in those that we communicate with. So
so, so,
we are here this rising for shadow work, and I'm
yes.
so grateful to be doing it. So timely. I have to tell you, everything about this, I
Mm,
think we both wanted to say no. Life is busy, right? And it's interesting how you can get caught up in all the other things that you deem to be important, and then spirit speaks to you and says, "Oh, but this is actually priority. This is the thing that needs to happen right now." And we've just become aware of the true need to be obedient and to listen to that and just move into it. So here we are. We're opening the way for the 21-day shadow work challenge. I know there are many platforms for challenges. However, shadow work, if you've done it, right,
mm,
and I know many of us have, it is truly a challenge, right? It is not simply the title of a container, it is a challenge. And it's because we've grown oftentimes more comfortable with sharing the parts of us that are in the light.
mhm.
And we kind of sometimes want to hide and truly not share the parts of us that make us feel like we should shrink it, or experience less of it, right? Or cause discomfort. So we are here to be vulnerable with you all. We're here to just be stewards of example, you know?
Right. Right. I mean, one of the things that I kind of talk about sometimes is the shadows, right? So if we don't ever see the shadows and take time to really just sit back and reflect on the shadows, then it's almost like you're acting like it's not there.
Hmm.
You're only living in that light.
Hmm.
And it's almost like you said, like the imposter syndrome, the performance, right? And you know, I believe that we're here for this experience, and it's not just for the light part.
Hmm.
Growth comes in the uncomfortable. Growth comes in the shadows. Um, and when we start doing this work and we start opening the way,
Hmm.
it will show up. It will definitely show up.
Ashe,
Sure.
ashe. And for those of us, those of you rather that we know, right? And even for those that we don't yet know completely, right? We know that we reflect a certain energy. And so we know that you're our mirrors. We know that already today, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so it means that to be our mirrors, there's an awakening you've already moved through, right? You are not here to learn how to awaken and how to find the light.
Right.
You're here because you're a reflection of us, which means you're in your knowing. You're in your knowing. And when we're in our knowing, shifting into really the responsibility of owning it and of being accountable for what we know
Mm,
and interpreting it and applying it,
mm,
that's the challenge, right? And so doing it in balance of both the light and the dark is why we're here to do this shadow work. And it's so timely because we are exactly 21 days out from the spring equinox.
right.
And that means we will be emerging from the shadows of winter,
Yes.
literally, right,
Literally.
within us
Mhm.
and around us, and ascending into the light of the spring. So, quick story, for those of us that are US based, you've probably heard of Groundhog Day, right? Groundhog Day. And I think it's like February 2nd. I'll be quite honest, outside of learning about it in grade school, it's not something that I've paid a whole lot of attention to, right? But we do recognize that here in the US, it is, communicated. It's actually on our calendars, right? Groundhog Day. And the idea of Groundhog Day is that the groundhog comes out and the whole town in Staten Island and New York and even other places within the country, they come out and they want to observe whether or not the groundhog sees his shadow. And depending on whether or not the groundhog has seen his shadow, then they make a prediction of how far we are
Mm,
from the spring. Because you are our reflections and because we are all in our awareness, our awakening, we know that so many of these things that have shifted in their interpretation, we'll put it lightly, y'all, right? Shifted in their interpretation in these days are really rooted in indigenous
mm,
practices all over the world. Because those of the land, stewards of the land, have always known that they were not separate from it, but they were a part of it. We are the groundhogs, right?
That's
We
right.
are those who are also able to come out into the light and see our shadow, and therefore then determine whether or not we are center, far, or near from our light. So that's why we are intentional right now about doing this shadow work so that we do intentionally enter the spring and the truth of our light,
Mm,
which is the new year, right? The true new year for the people of the sun,
that's
which
it.
we all are. We
That's
all
it.
are.
That's it.
So that's a bit about why we're here. And
And it's time. It's
yeah,
time,
it's
right? It's
time.
time. It's time.
Yeah.
We've got through a hard winter. I
Hmm.
know here in New York. And to be quite honest, that time does bring lows,
Hmm.
right? We're missing the vitamin D of the sun and getting out there to be able to be in nature,
Hmm.
right? In a certain way. So it's time. It's time.
Ashe,
So that's it.
ashe. And so, for those of us that are familiar with some of the verbiage that we're using, right? When we say ashe, it is the universal way of stating agreement, right? It's similar to how in some belief systems you might say amen, right? So
Mm,
we do interchangeably use both amen and ashe. Fun fact about James and I, we are non-denominational ordained ministers. And So we really believe that there's a root that centers all of us by spirit and the divine, and that it doesn't need to be a marker between the different belief systems. So if you are here from any religious backing or no religious backing at all, you are welcome. You are welcome. The support here is energetic.
Yes, we are
Yeah,
all sisters and brothers.
all sisters and brothers. So why we are not going to talk, right, on all of these calls, and we're going to also always be opening the floor up to do what we call pass the light and to hear from you all is because, again, we are reflections of each other. It's not by chance that we're in this space together. And intentionally, we want to be able to hear what the downloads, uploads, anything that are coming through you as well, because you could be speaking not only for yourself, but for us and for each other. So we're going to do that. To give an example of this, we are just coming out of, in the US, what is observed as Black History Month.
Mm,
I say what is observed versus what we observe
mm,
because Black history is every day, every month, right? For
right.
us, right? And I'm sure for many of you too. And for the allies of our communities as well, right? So the reality is in the US, it is observed during February. And very often there are depiction also of Dr. King, right? Dr. Martin Luther King. One of the interesting things that people typically speak about with Dr. King and often remember him for is, what do you
I
think?
had a dream.
I have a dream, right? It's like for that speech, right? The I
Right.
have a dream speech. What a lot of people either don't remember or may not have ever known is the fact that that was not the speech Dr. King intended to give that day.
Mm,
Dr. King had actually prepared a whole different speech.
mm,
He had another message, a safer landing for the message. He had an interpretation of what he wanted to share that was very calculated, very planned, and strategic. And he got out in front of those hundreds of thousands of people and he started to communicate that speech, and it was not landing.
mm,
It was landing flat.
mm,
People were becoming distracted or not really, connecting with the message. And his spiritual sister, you may be familiar with her, Mahalia Jackson. So she's a gospel singer. My grandfather used to sing gospel too, so know a little bit about some gospel singers. She's a gospel singer, which means that she sings from her spirit and her soul. And she shouted to Martin Luther King at the time from the crowd, and she said to him, Martin, tell them about your dream.
mm, mm,
That was a shadow moment.
mm,
Sometimes we think a shadow moment has to be so messy.
mm,
It has to look like, complete collapse, rock bottom.
mm,
Sometimes it's just that moment when you have to recognize what you're doing is not working
mm,
and you have to pivot. And Mahalia Jackson was there to say, tell them about your dream. It makes me emotional, y'all.
wow.
I get a little emotional.
Yeah,
Y'all
wow.
know that, right? Bear with me, bear with me.
Uh,
Why that's important is because did Dr. King know his dream? Of course. He had already shared it, obviously, from the context with even Mahalia Jackson. That's how she could shout him out from the crowd and say, scratch this.
mhm,
Martin, tell him about your dream.
mhm.
That's community. That's why we need to hear from each other. That's why we have to share the truth about what's on our heart.
Right.
Because sometimes there will be moments that we shift as human beings into our performance, the thing we planned, the thing we prepped, the thing, right? That speech that Martin Luther King stood up there that he thought he was going to say that wasn't landing well at all. But when you have community, people you trust, who you've told about your dream, you've told about what you desire in this lifetime,
Mhm.
they will call you out.
Right.
They will
Right.
call you out. And if you trust them equally, right,
Mhm.
then you'll listen. So Dr. King did listen. He heard Mahalia loud and clear. She has a powerful voice. If you don't know, look her up, okay? To be heard over all that crowd, right? And he pivoted. And what he gave was, quite honestly, probably the most monumental, impactful, hands down greatest speech ever known in humanity. And it was from spirit.
I say.
It was from spirit. It
Mm,
was from spirit he was speaking from.
mm,
He scrapped. the preparation.
Right.
So when we say that we are not here, right, on this call, we're of course going to speak because we want you to know what this container is, what you can expect from us, and what we also expect from you.
Yeah.
But it is important to know that community, we have to share with each other. Sometimes we want to hold it. We've even been told things that separate us, like, oh no, you got an idea, you better protect it. Don't you share it.
Right. Right.
Vulture's going to come and take it, and
Right.
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 The truth is, when you're in spaces like this, we're here by not chance, we're here by purpose. And so we want to share. I need you all to be our Mahalia Jackson, and we want to be yours, right?
Right.
To shout each other out.
Right.
So without further ado, so if you have the book, right, The Alchemy of Shadow Work, Sacred Relationships Unveiled, you can move through this, right, with more depth. You can actually also center it with someone who you might want to actually move through this journey together with. This book is intentionally created for you to either deepen your relationship with yourself
Mm.
or with someone else, whether it's your child, your sister, your brother, your neighbor, your significant other, whoever it is. You can step through it either alone in the sense that you're gathering yourself or with a partner.
Mhm.
And that's intentional. Okay. So, with that said, today, if you're already in our group chat, you will have received a link to the Substack article. And in the article, we tackle a little bit more about our own personal reflections.
Yeah.
Why do you think, babe, that is important? Why do you feel like it's important for us to speak to our reflection and honesty?
Um, because for me, I believe that it's vulnerability,
Mhm.
it's transparency, and it's relating,
Mhm.
right? Whenever we get on these calls, if we're speaking in person somewhere, I always connect with everybody because I see myself in others, and I
Mhm.
know others see themselves in us.
Mhm.
So I think it's important for us to be honest, transparent, and have a little bit of vulnerability so people can truly
Mhm.
see who we are and see themselves as well.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that inspired James and I to even write the book and journal was because years ago when we first got on like Facebook, we had posted a picture. It was the
Mm.
first time that, we were really outside of like MySpace. Shout out to those of us that were on MySpace, but I'm a millennial, y'all.
Going back. Yeah.
Right? So Facebook was like the first time that I had a collaborative space where now I'm sharing like a relationship. James and I are in a relationship. We've shared a picture, and there were so many comments on it.
Mm.
And although the comments were in love and they were really kind and uplifting, it really made me feel as if our truth was not true.
Mm.
People were saying things like, "Oh, relationship goals. You guys are black love. You guys are this, you're that." And although it felt nice, we knew that there's a part of us that they don't see, they don't know, right?
Mm.
They don't know the truth. And what we didn't want was for people to take what we captured as a moment in time in a photo
Mhm.
and expand that and think that that's something to strive for in life, because really what brought us to that moment in that photo was an argument.
Mhm.
How about that?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So James and I have had plenty of disagreements that have led us to really getting to know each other very deeply. And I'm glad
Mhm.
that we did it early on.
Right. Right. I think, sometimes, the truth about disagreement is it's not that it's not supposed to happen. Actually, it is supposed to happen.
Hmm.
That's where growth comes in.
Hmm.
That's where good communication comes in. And you need those moments to even test, who you really are and for your shadows to come out.
Hmm.
Right. I,
Hmm.
I want to know all of you,
Hmm.
not just the light. I
Hmm.
want to know the shadows as well,
Hmm.
right? Because then I also have to understand how to work through that with you,
Hmm.
and what triggers my shadows,
Hmm.
right? So we need those times of disagreement, for growth.
Yeah, and every single time we do. This is actually our second season doing this 21-day shadow work challenge. Last year, we thought we were doing it just when we had scheduled to do it. It was actually, again, us being obedient,
Mhm.
and it was during the same exact time. We weren't as intentional as we are this year about it, but we were moving in spirit. We just knew it felt like right, and
Yeah.
we found the proof of that after the fact.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, when we open up these gateways and we start to move through it together, we begin to have challenges.
100%.
We start to have challenges. Our communication gets challenged. Our ways of relating to each other becomes more difficult
Hmm.
because it starts to uproot some things, right? So individually, James has his past and he's had, traumatic experiences. His inner child needs soothing sometimes, and I have the exact same. So, when you start to open up work like this, now you're not just dealing with this person who you love every day, you're also dealing with the energy that they're moving through from the things that are being opened inside of them.
Right.
And so it's challenging.
It is. And please understand, again, this is why we're here, right? We are opening the way. So when you're doing that, I always like to talk to people and say, oh, because they say, oh, it's getting hard and all these things
Hmm.
are showing up. I can't do this. And you kind of shut down and stop.
Hmm.
Um, there's a season of acceptance
Hmm.
that you have to understand. I'm opening the way for a reason. So when these
Hmm.
things start happening, it's no longer that you want to run away from it. I'm grateful
Hmm.
that we have opened the way so I can see it,
Hmm.
so I can work through it. I don't want to suppress it and push it down anymore. I actually want it to come up. So when it gets hard and things start showing up, even in the moment, sometimes I know it's hard, but if you can get to that point where you even understand in the moment what's happening and you stop and you say, oh, wait,
Hmm.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me take a breath. I know what's happening. All right, let me see what the message is in this.
Hmm.
Let me sit back and reflect on this for a second. This is not for me to run from. This is exactly what I wanted and what I asked for.
Ashe,
Asha,
ashe.
Asha.
It's so true. And so the intention and how we move through this work with the shadow work is really for you to always bring it back to self.
Hmm.
It's really for you because we get very fluent in what others have done to us, right? We get very fluent in describing how others have made us feel, right?
Hmm.
The truth is, in some way, we are allowing that experience,
Hmm.
right? And we are shaping it based on our other experiences from prior
Yes.
and our perceptions from today. And it's never truly about the other person. It's always about what it was supposed to poke open in
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
so that you could
Hmm.
allow it to be experienced and then grow
Hmm.
and then grow.
Hmm.
So just know that if you start to feel in moments like you've been a little wounded, number one, you can reach out to James and I, right? That's the first thing. But number two, that's the work working,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's the work working. And so we just want to encourage you to keep moving forward when that happens. So James mentioned vulnerability, and vulnerability is actually exactly where we start in this experience, the 21 day challenge. And also in the book, it's where we start. And it's with confronting the fear of vulnerability. And it just felt like the most organic space to start in
Hmm.
because if you're not going to surrender to really being open, then you're not going to have true intimacy with yourself or with anybody else through a shadow work experience. So it's really the place where you just set the agreement that that's what you're going to do. You're going to allow yourself to be vulnerable.
Hmm.
And that can be hard
Hmm.
and it can be frightening to give a little glimpse of what I journaled about because we wanted to be kind of one evening ahead so that we could tell you the truth also as we move through in these experiences each week as we meet. But for me, what I remember, so James and I have been together actually just last month, made 20 years. And early in our relationship, maybe just a couple years after we had moved in together, James said that he had a desire for me to be a stay-at-home wife,
Hmm.
right? A stay-at-home wife. And I was like, absolutely not. I think I even called my sister and was like, is he crazy? There is no way. There is no way. If this is what this is going to be like, and he wants to try and control, and I already know how that is. I'm not signing up for that, right? Because I had an inner contract and an agreement with an idea that not being an earner of income in a household meant not having a voice. And I didn't just get that from just anywhere, right? I witnessed it. I witnessed it in the modeling of other relationships around me. And so I had an inner consciousness that was saying, oh no, don't agree to that.
Hmm.
Don't agree to that. Even though there today is a known part of me that's like, why didn't you agree to that? Right? There's a part of me today that quite honestly says, well, why didn't you agree to that? Right? Because I'm a creative. And I now know that, the divine had aligned me with someone who desire to just, create space for me to be able to create. But I was harboring this feeling of, no, I have to produce
Mm, mm,
because then I can be an equivalent
mm,
partner. And not that I would change it today,
mm,
because I think that in many ways it expanded us,
mm,
right? So it was supposed to happen in that way. But I had to recognize that when I was asked the question in the journal of a time that I experienced vulnerability that I was afraid of,
mm,
that was a fear.
mm,
That was a fear. And at the time, I would have made it all about the other person, that perhaps he was trying to control, when in actuality, it was really about me having a fear of being controlled.
mm,
And so that's just to give you an example, kind of how to look at the way you're discerning your responses, right? If you start to realize that when you're writing your responses in this journaling, that it is becoming very centered on describing the behavior of someone else, describing the intentions of someone else, that's okay. You need
mm.
to get it out, that's fine.
Right.
But always anchor it back and bring it back to yourself. To
Mm,
yourself. What is it really uprooting and revealing in you?
right.
That feeling.
Right. And that's so important is that, when you're going through this and you're in spirit. And that's the first thing, right? You always want to make sure that you connect yourself and be in spirit. So what's happening inside of you is truly from spirit. We have to make sure that we're speaking and connecting to our higher mindset. When we're doing this, all types of other stuff will come up. And you're not sure what exactly is coming up and what's right. But as these questions start triggering things in you and bringing it up, um, you know, you, I have to sit back at times and almost go through it to be like, okay, what's my part in this? Right? Because it's very easy to blame somebody else for what feeling is coming up. But in reality, that feeling is ours,
Hmm.
right? We are in control of that feeling.
Hmm.
We do not control anything else outside of us, right? It's
Hmm.
us. So once you start writing that, just let it flow out.
Hmm.
I put a whole bunch of stuff down, and I'm not a person that is the I wasn't an advocate of journaling, right? Or
Hmm.
or I didn't realize how important journaling
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
to especially understanding your feelings and actually seeing it because
Hmm.
I'm a person that speaks and goes all over the place, so I write in the same way. And to go back and actually see what you wrote and what you was feeling in the moment of it kind of like just splurging out,
Hmm.
it's almost like, wow, I didn't even realize that I felt that. And
Hmm.
then to understand, wait, that's not somebody else.
Hmm.
That's me. That's my feeling. I own that. So what exactly is making me
Hmm.
feel that?
Hmm.
What other parts of me or from what, like you said before, like the traumas that we went through is making me feel like that today?
Hmm.
So again, it's important to understand that it all comes back to us.
Yeah, yeah. And that's similar to even what came up for you in this journaling for this particular gateway that's opening today.
Yes, yes. So again, transparency, right? And vulnerability, that is something that came up where, for many of us, vulnerability could seem like it's weak.
Mm.
It makes us look weak or it makes us feel weak. Or we feel less than, right? To be vulnerable. Um, you know, coming from an environment that you have to put the mask on and you gotta always
Mm.
be tough and you gotta make sure you don't show any type of weakness. It was very hard for me to even understand how to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
wow, I don't want to take my armor off and let you or anybody else see my
Mhm.
true feelings about something.
Mhm.
Actually, honestly, I didn't even want to accept it myself
Mhm.
because I almost felt like I was always taught that, once you actually say it, you're almost claiming a piece of it.
Mhm.
So, if I was to acknowledge that, this is making me feel a certain way,
Mhm.
and I almost have to be like, wow, man, like I accept that. Now there's this
Mhm.
piece of me that I'm fighting inside of myself, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that is almost like, I'm
Mhm.
almost it's amazing when I'm even talking about it because actually I also hear my father's voice,
Mhm.
in my head at certain
Mhm.
times because my father was a very strong Southern, um, tough man,
Mhm.
right? And I say tough in the word of how they used it back then. He was country built,
Mhm.
and I was taught from a very young age, one, cry. What are tears gonna do? Two, what are you feeling about that? Suck that up and
Mhm.
keep it going. You're a man, right?
Mhm.
So you have to like push that down and keep on going. So at times, even if I felt a feeling inside of me,
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
this voice that will come up and be like, "Man, you better toughen up,
Man up.
yeah,
Hmm.
man that up." And so I almost didn't allow myself
Mm.
to attach to that feeling.
Yeah.
So going through this work and being able to accept even things within myself to be like, it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel this.
Hmm.
Now, what am I going to do with that feeling?
Hmm.
Right? Because I accept it now, but now I got to go down to the root cause of why am I feeling that way?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. 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 And a lot of it for us is not that we seek to blame, our parents, right? Because especially for those of us that are parents, and James and I are, we know that most of us are really just working with the tools we have and doing the best we can. And we know that our experiences are as they should have been
absolutely.
because it was to craft our journey to be who we are today, right?
Absolutely.
So it was necessary, even if some parts of it were painful or some parts of it were barriers that we had to unlearn.
Right.
It's all intentional. It's a part of the design, but it may come up,
Yeah.
y'all,
Yeah.
while you're stepping through this work.
Right.
So at this time, we're just gonna stop here, I guess, and take some questions or comments. And for anyone who, number one, was maybe not able to rise with us today, we'll definitely drop this video in the chat so that they can listen in. So we want to welcome those as well, those folks as well. But also for anyone who might have came in a little bit after our start, right? That's okay too. The recording is there for you as well if you want to go back. But yeah, any reflections, any thoughts, any just aha moments, anything random, any question at all. We're open. And Shah, greetings. Up, Shah. If you're speaking, it looks like
Greetings, can you hear me?
here you are. Now we can hear you. Greetings.
Divine rising, sister.
Grand Rising. So I guess it's just a comment on the random. So I've been seeing the messages in the chat about the shadow work coming up, and I fully intended on joining into the process, but I didn't plan on waking up at 6:30 to be on the Zoom. Like I very much was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it on my own time. So when it comes up, I'll just pop in. Um, I'll just do my journaling and I'll do my work through, right?
Yeah.
And Spirit wouldn't let me sleep.
Mm.
And so
Wow.
I'm supposed to be up. I set my alarm for 7:30. I have to take my daughter out to chess or whatever. So I know exactly what I need to do for today.
Hmm.
This 6:30 was not on my agenda. Um, but I literally had to get up out the bed. Um,
Wow.
so I was like, well, since I'm already up, let me grab my journal and just come downstairs and into the quiet, into a space for me just by myself, and just hop in on the call. Um,
Wow.
and I don't remember what I was dreaming about, but I know that I was having a very vivid dream right before I woke up. So then for you, and I was trying to remember it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was that? And then when I jump in the call, we're talking about Dr. Martin Luther King's I have a dream speech, and I'm like, I was just trying to remember mine, but okay, whatever. So I'm still
Wow.
trying to lock
Mm.
in to what's being said here. And then I have also the remembrance that yes, this does align with us going into spring equinox.
Yeah.
And I also am very, like, I love astrology and numerology and all the
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
And for me, Mercury is in retrograde. And usually during this time, communication can be screwed and, all of the things. But that is actually set to end on March 20th as well. So it
Hmm.
very much aligns with us pulling back and going into ourselves and doing the inner work
Mm.
during this retrograde because yes, what we're projecting right now can be um, perceived in the wrong way.
Hmm.
So I've been telling people around me, right now you got to watch your tongue.
Yeah.
Be careful. what you say, whatever, what you do. But I feel like this makes well keeps me intentional and accountable
Yeah.
during this time as well. So with that, I am complete.
Giving
Mhm.
thanks, giving thanks, giving
Gosh,
thanks.
thank you for that.
It's amazing how alignment works, right? And how the divine will shake it out of you and just be like, look, we are doing this.
Right. And just thank you for sharing that because again, Shy, like, and this is what we say, community, to share, it lets others know as well, like, wow, look at that.
Mhm.
So I might get a nudge,
Yeah,
right? And I gotta follow spirit. Maybe I
yeah,
just thought I couldn't sleep and I just thought I'm just having like, problems. No, it's spirit
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
rise, rise, rise. It's time to get up,
yeah.
So thank you for sharing that, Shy.
Giving thanks, giving thanks.
Yeah.
And just to echo, James and I didn't know we were going to be doing this either. Getting up at 6:30, right?
I definitely did not know
And
that.
doing this, but spirit nudged. Megan, peace and greetings, sis.
Greetings, Divine Dawn.
Greetings.
Greetings, sis.
Um, I have immense gratitude for Sha speaking just now because I also did not did not have that on the agenda. Um, Even in my excitement, and last night, of course, did not go as planned. I didn't sleep until around two something.
Mhm.
And so I had plans this morning, and I set the alarm to give me enough sleep so that I could function. But oddly enough, my cat woke me up,
Mm,
and I tried to ignore him, and then my my brain and my mind and my eyes, everything woke up after that, and
mm,
was like, "Oh no,
Wow.
this is in alignment. This is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
mhm.
This is the manifestation again of continued growth and refinement and getting into you.
That's it.
So get up.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it was I recently celebrated a birthday, and that was
Happy
also
belated
Ah,
birthday.
happy
thank
birthday.
you.
Sending Mer.
Thank you so much. And that this again just aligned with the thoughts, and I write myself a birthday card every year.
Oh,
uh and it was some of the stuff that was in the card, just showing myself the love, and regardless of what that looks like, and this is showing myself love by being on this call and doing this work for myself. So
That's it.
giving thanks to Sha for saying what she said, giving thanks to you all for again hosting such a wonderful circle and opportunity to dive deeper into ourselves, because that definitely it not only impacts us but also the communities and community within and around us. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
we give thanks.
We
We
give
give
thanks. We
thanks. We
give
give
thanks.
thanks.
Thank you for sharing that.
And thank you for being in divine confirmation,
Yes.
because
Yes.
sometimes it's tough to get started with being obedient to the thing you're being called to do.
Hmm.
And when you hear that it aligns with what someone else is being called to wake up to take part in,
Hmm.
it's like, wow, okay, okay, Mosiah, this is why we're listening.
That's
So
it.
we give thanks.
Yes. Yes.
Empress New Hope. Peace and greetings.
And greetings. How are you?
We are
How are
great.
you all? Thank you so much. It's definitely a divine honor to share this space with you all, and I give many thanks for this. This is my first time doing shadow work. I strive to do it last year, but
Mhm.
this year I'm with you. So I give thanks to be a part of this
Mhm.
space and to begin shadow work. Thank you for
Mhm.
allowing me to be a part of your space. Give thanks.
I give
Mm.
deep
Yes.
thanks, and deep bow to you also,
Yes.
Empress, because so y'all, when I went through with Queen Afua's Sacred Woman rites of passage, Empress was actually my practitioner.
Oh, wow.
And we have remained in connection for
Mm.
all the years since.
Wow.
And she's so intentional about just circling back and following up and checking in. And I give thanks. I give thanks for just your being.
Mm.
You're just such a wonderful person. And I'm so happy you're here.
I
Give
say, thank you
thanks,
for
sis.
honoring us with your presence.
Give thanks, give thanks.
Mm.
Ashe.
Shay.
And we're just going to check in the chat. Look, we got some comments going on in there. We have some greetings from Sister Practitioner Lorraine. She says, you both look radiant. Oh, giving thanks, sis. Giving thanks.
Beautiful.
Sacred Women Cecile says, greetings, greetings all the way to Canada. Sis.
Wow.
We have to actually put that in our chat. We need to know just how expansive our circle
Right.
energetically is. We have folks all over the world. Sister Lorraine is in Costa Rica, you know, giving thanks, giving thanks. Sister Tasha says divine timing. Ashe, Ashe
Yes,
says,
yes,
giving
yes,
thanks you're here. We
yes.
have a Zoom user sending love, and we're sending love right back to you. Um, when you have an opportunity, just give us your name too. We'd like to welcome you. We have Sister Crystal in the building, sending love, sis. And Empress sent us some love. Janelle says, so true, so true.
Mm.
And Tasha says, I love that idea, Megan. I'm sure she was talking about that birthday card, okay?
Right.
Because I thought also that is a great idea. A personal new year, right? So it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Brother True, Sister Constance say, writing yourself a birthday card is a new tradition. Come on, y'all.
Right. Yes,
See?
yes,
Giving
yes.
thanks for the circle, giving thanks.
Hey.
All right, y'all. So we do also have pre-recorded meditations as well that are accompanying this experience. So the link to that, when you click on the link today to the journal prompts, and I share a bit of my journal entry, James shares his journal entry in there, so you can know more about that, and we will definitely take more comments and questions too. When you click on that, after you read the article, at the bottom, there's also a link to the meditation. So, because you're on the call today, at the end of this call, we'll also play today's
Play that.
meditation. They're recorded by both James and I. So, I think today's is vulnerability. So, I did this one. The next one, I believe we move into control, and James does that one. So, you'll hear, you know, the different voices. Just want you to be aware of that. You don't have to go back out and look and say, "Am I in the right one?" Like it's
Right.
both of us.
Right. And we'll play it on
Yeah.
the call today.
Hmm.
But if you're not in a space where you can really sit down and connect with it,
Mm-hmm.
please, when you get ready to do your work, find a place, like Shai was saying earlier, that's really
Hmm.
suitable for you to really connect with not just the meditation, but yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And if possible, to anchor yourself in nature,
Oh,
right?
yes.
I know, and look, talking of nature here in New York, we are under about 20 inches still of snow, right? That's
Connecticut
slowly
too.
melting, right?
Connecticut
But we are
too.
in nature, right? It's nature,
It's
right?
nature,
It's
right?
nature. So we are going to get out and the silence and in the essence of nature because it is not just without, it is also within, right?
Yes.
And also listen to a meditation and then do some journaling on the heels of that. So, however you choose to use it, but it's also really amplifying if you do decide that you want to take part in a nature-based experience
Right.
while doing it. All right. And Lorraine, greetings, sis.
Greetings, greetings.
Greetings.
Greetings, greetings. I'm so happy to see you all today. And excuse me, I got a little cough. And I first just want to say thank you for just holding this container with intention and care. I mean, I know just how much presence it takes to create a space where people feel safe enough to be honest with themselves. And so I really don't take that for granted. Um, I'm also really grateful because I've heard about shadow work for a long time and I've always been like curious about it, but it never fully connected for me until now. So the timing of this feels very aligned. Like I'm arriving to it, when I'm truly ready to explore it with some openness. And so I'm just really grateful to be a part of this collective and doing the classes. I know everyone was saying like, oh, I didn't know if I was going to be able to show up. I was like, oh no, this works perfect for me. I can make sure I can do that every Sunday at this time because I'm in the bed anyway. So I was just grateful for the like, oh, I can really fully participate in the process. And I had already read the Substack for today prior to entering into the call. And so I just love how you both have structured it and hearing from both of your perspectives and even providing the journal questions for us to think about and the affirmations. I'm just like, oh, this is a very, look, the Virgo in me is like loving everything about this.
Thanks, sis.
So I just appreciate you both so much for lending your time and space and expertise to help us learn, grow, and expand. So give thanks.
Oh,
I
giving
say
such deep thanks, sis.
yes,
Giving
yes.
thanks.
Thank you for being
Oh my
here.
gosh. Wow. Thank you for being a reflection. Yeah. And again, just divine
That's
confirmation,
it.
right?
That's it. Yeah.
Confirmation. So it means a lot.
Yes.
Give thanks, sis.
Yes.
And Luna Soul Rise. Ooh, how
Yeah.
beautiful. Giving thanks.
Greetings, greetings.
Greetings. And Luna, if you're speaking, you're still on mute. We'll circle back where he
Okay.
says, I don't know if you intended to put your hand up or just let us know, okay? We want to make sure that we get your question or comment as well. So what you'll notice is that we have 3 weeks of these sessions, right? Because it's 21 days. So we met today. We'll meet for the next 2 Sundays as
Mm,
well at 6:30 a.m., right, for our rising. And then we're going to also meet on the actual equinox.
mm,
So that's going to be on Saturday, March 21st, right? And
mm.
we'll do that at the rising also. And those will be our calls, right?
Yeah.
Those 4 calls. But in the midst of it, you can expect from us some videos, some voice notes, some reflections
Mm,
right in the chat, right? So it'll be important to kind of just check in on those, right? And just see if there's anything that's balancing for you, anything that kind of affirms or supports something that's also coming up for you. What we found in these containers is a lot of the time we have been attracted here because there's also some synergy,
mm.
right? There's some things that we might be moving through that we share in terms of experiences. So we want everyone to be seen and supported in those ways. So as you see, James and I share it. You are most welcome to do that as well. You can definitely share a video, a reflection, a download, a voice note, whatever feels, right for you. And we're open to that.
I say, I say.
Yeah.
Um, this prayerful intention, is it
Yeah.
something you want to do a repeat and recall or just speak on it
Yeah,
or
sure. So we can do that and then we'll
and
move
then go into
right
the
into our
meditation?
meditation. So, Sister Luna, Soul Rise, if you were
I'm
able to
here.
unmute,
Yes,
please
yes, I'm
say
here. I'm
greetings.
so sorry. I'm on my phone
It's
and
okay.
I'm still a little sleepy.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to get unmuted. So give thanks and praise to the Most High for everyone being here and
So,
for you and your husband. I feel the love on this call so much and it's so refreshing to be here. So I'm really happy to be here. I too just quickly wanted to jump in and kind of just bear witness to the alignment to how spirit is working and also kind of like echo this idea like I didn't plan to really be up at this time even though I'm an early riser and currently I'm doing a lot and so I'm also wondering how much I can be present
Mhm.
in this process. Like the other sister, I also heard a lot about shadow work. Always wondered what was that like.
Mhm.
Um, I'm in a space now that I'm feeling really. I'm a Pisces, so this is Pisces season, and
Oh.
there's a retrograde, Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So
Mhm.
this is really my time,
Mhm.
and I know that spirit works through people with me and I'm in a space where I'm doing a 40-day meditation. I'm also chanting with the sacred women sisters in that group. um I'm also trying to observe some form of Ramadan just because I've been exposed to Islamic philosophy. I'm a seeker. I've always been a seeker since a little girl. So I've spread myself very wide and expansively, because that's who I am.
Come
And I
on.
have a tendency of tracking a lot of opportunities. And once again, I feel like this is one of those opportunities that can transform my life and allow me to grow even more in the most deepest ways. However, I do know that it will require a lot of vulnerability. And I'm at a space in my life where I feel very, very in control
Mm,
of my destiny. And I'll be honest, I was scared at first, um, to even hop on. I said to myself, girl, you might be doing way too much. Like you like, this might be one of those, like, okay, you biting too much. And then again, now that I'm on and I'm listening to, you know, your points, and you bring up the dream of Dear Martin, and then the sisters also talk about dreaming. I also had woken up like right before my alarm, my 6:30 alarm hit, from a dream. And in that dream, I was told specifically that I need a mentor.
mm,
And I woke up and I said, well, yeah, no, I know I need a mentor. It's been something that I've been contemplating. Um, so that's my dream. And yeah, I wanted to bring that up as well. Um, so yeah, I really don't have a very specific direction in terms of my share, but I do wanted to, I do want to share where I'm at and what my mind was processing right before, and connect with the sisters that have shared before, um, on this call. That everything seems to be in alignment. I just want to know. I don't know. I guess I'm a Virgo rising as well.
yeah.
So I just kind of want to know how much involvement, um, do you recommend? Um,
Yeah.
and if this is going to happen again, when maybe I feel like I have more time, or maybe I'm just, you know, getting in my way. And again, maybe this is part of like the shadow work. Like I might think that I'm going to be overwhelmed because I'm avoiding vulnerability, and I'm like, like, what is it that I'm really supposed to be doing? Is, I guess, is what my question is, and I don't know if you can help me with that, but
I share.
if you-
You know,
thanks.
I give thanks for your reflection and for the share, and your truth, right? Because it is true. Sometimes we can bite off what feels like more than we can chew. And there was already so much confirmation that you just gave us, right? In terms of, you saying that the timing of this, even on today's rising, and the fact that you were awakening out of a dream. And, we were speaking about a dream. Okay, I know it was confirming for us and it was affirming for us. And I think the truth is just rooted in whether or not that's confirmation for you, and whether you agree with it. I will tell you this, I am very much so aside from this book, I've also written a book called Surrendering to Soft Living. And, for me, soft living is very much rooted in the path of least resistance, right? And the idea of doing what really feels like organic flow for me. It's not so much about bubble bath, right? Although we know that some of those elements really are soothing and needed for all of us as well in terms of self-care. But for me, soft living is just doing what feels right for me in the moment. And so, I can understand when something feels like a large commitment. And because I've felt that a lot, right? And what I do is I just give myself permission to be in flow. So if you find that today you were able to be present and tomorrow it doesn't feel like it's fully aligned, you know, this is by all means intended to be self-guided for you as well. Everything you have access to will remain, right? You'll
Mm,
still have the articles, you'll still have the journal prompts, you'll have the recordings, you'll have the meditations. So if your pace changes a bit, I'm always an advocate for you just surrendering to that,
mm.
So we are so grateful you're here today
That's right.
and just happy for the present moment, to align
Yes.
with you
Yes.
and feel just your energy. So I appreciate that you spoke into the call to share your thought on it.
That's right.
Well, thank you for receiving. Give thanks.
Give thanks, give
Good
thanks.
thing.
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning that because we should state that also that this is very self-guided, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well. We're holding the container,
Hmm.
but certainly, we want everyone to ebb and flow as it feels natural.
Yes.
And that also means to linger if you feel like you need to, right? If there's a particular space that maybe you need to plant, a little longer, that's
Mm-hmm.
okay too. It's okay too. And like I said, you'll still have access to everything we're sharing in this 21 days. If your
Okay.
21 days are not back-to-back days, it's okay. You
Right.
spread them out how you need
Right.
to.
Amazing. Amazing. Well,
Good
thank you
thing.
again. When will you have this again?
Well, I can tell you this. What feels aligned from the last season and this season was to do it right at this sweet spot, which has
Yeah.
been the March 1st to the 21st, because that's our New Year awakening
Mm-hmm.
for, people of the sun in terms of the true natural New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If the spirit does move that there's another time that we should do it again, we're gonna be obedient. We
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
definitely gonna be obedient to it. Right now, what we know is what's before us, which is,
Right.
this season, and it does feel like it's gonna be annual, that it'll always be, as far as we can see out, at this sweet spot, this time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm excited. My birthday's on the 19th of March. So, like, again, everything is
Oh,
alignment. Yes. New
yes.
year, new me.
Personal New
Absolutely.
Year aligning with
Right.
the
Yes.
actual equinox,
There you go.
right?
Yes.
So giving thanks,
Giving
giving
thanks.
Yes.
thanks,
Powerful times. All right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
give
Good
thanks,
thanks.
give
Good
thanks.
thanks. And we will be moving from this into another season of the Divine Collective as well.
Yes,
Right.
we
So yeah.
will. Yes, we will. So, and thank you for mentioning that, right? So we do have the Divine Collective Uprising, which is also a book study. So again, in spirit, we move through a book together and we read through it. We convene here on Zoom so that we can talk about what's coming up for us. We have read Sacred Woman, Man Heal Thyself. We have read Spirit of Intimacy, which
Right.
was our most recent together. And they're just life-changing, game-changing, further awakening and deepening,
Mm-hmm.
experiences. And so, yeah, we have that space as well. And what we do is in September, this would actually be our fifth year, we have a one-day retreat here in New York and Long Island, and you all will receive information on that too. So thanks for mentioning that,
Mm-hmm.
babe. And everyone who's been a part of that book study then comes in and we just gather, we
Yeah.
gather and we share our own gifts,
Yes.
to align in the space. And, we have yoga instructors,
Mm-hmm.
right? Among us, we have healers among us, readers
Yes.
among us. All of us are healers in one way or another.
Right.
How we bring forward the gifts of that might differ, but in that space, all are always welcome to share in that. So that
That's right.
uprising is really an incredible awakening in and of itself on
Mm-hmm.
that retreat day.
Right.
So you're going to be welcome to that too.
Definitely want to be a part of that.
I say.
Ashay,
I
Ashay, we
say.
will love that.
Yes. Yes. I say.
All right, family. So as we're closing out for 7:30, we're actually going to do we're going to do call and respond for the prayer, and then we'll move into
The meditation.
the meditation and we'll close the circle.
I say.
Giving
Giving thanks.
thanks,
Give
giving
thanks.
thanks,
Give thanks. Give
thanks.
thanks.
So we'll do repeat and recall on the prayer. All right. Divine source of all love and truth.
Divine
Divine
source
source of
of
all
Source
love
of
and
all love
love and
and
truth.
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 I open my heart to the courage it takes to be vulnerable,
I
I
I
open
open
my
my
open my
heart
heart
heart to
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 the
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 courage
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 it
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 takes
takes
to be
takes
to
to
be
be
vulnerable.
vulnerable.
To be
vulnerable.
vulnerable.
May I shed the armor that guards my deepest self,
May
May
I
May I
shed the
shed
armor
the
that
armor
guards
that
my
Guard
guards
deepest
my
my
self.
deepest
deepest
my
self.
self,
deepest self.
trusting that in my openness,
trusting,
Trusting
and
that
in my
in my
openness.
openness,
True connection will flourish.
True
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 connection will
connection
connection
will
will
flourish.
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 Guide me to embrace my fears and transform them into bridges of intimacy.
Guide
Guide
God
me
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 to
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 transform my
embrace my
fears,
embrace
fears
bridge
fears
them
and
to
and
a
transform
form
them
transform
into
them into
bridges of
bridges.
intimacy.
Where honesty and trust can thrive.
Where
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 honesty
honesty
and
honesty
and
trust can
trust
And
can
thrive.
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 Ashe,
Ashe.
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 Give
Yes.
thanks.
Give
Okay,
thanks.
And
family,
so
give
it is.
thanks. We are going to now switch into the meditation, giving thanks.
Give
So
thanks.
after the meditation, the call will end. But we give thanks and again, thank everybody for being here.
Have a
Ashe.
beautiful
Absolutely.
rest of your day. Thank you. Give thanks.
Give
Give
thanks.
thanks. Oh, let me just make sure I'm sharing the sound. Okay. Let me just try again. Close your eyes and take a deep breath, allowing the air to fill your lungs and expand your chest. As you exhale, feel the tension leave your body. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a tranquil lake at dawn, the mist rising gently from the surface. The water is still, reflecting the sky's soft hues of pink and gold. This is a place of safety, a sanctuary where your true self can be fully revealed without judgment. With each breath, allow yourself to feel the gentle warmth of the morning sun on your skin, slowly melting away the fear that has kept your heart guarded. Picture your heart as a flower bud tightly closed. As you continue to breathe deeply, the flower begins to open, petal by petal, revealing its vibrant colors to the world. This is your vulnerability, a beautiful and necessary part of your being. In this moment, affirm to yourself, I am safe to be seen. I am safe to be vulnerable. My openness is my strength. Holding this feeling, knowing that just like the flower, your vulnerability is a gift that allows others to see your true essence. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes, carrying this sense of openness into your day.
Find a Okay,
that's actually tomorrow's meditation, y'all.
I say.
We give thanks for you sharing this time, this space with us. We give thanks just to know that in different areas of the world, there are people who are moving through this work with intention, because it means that you'll be illuminating that light in all spaces you enter, and therefore changing the world.
I say.
Changing the world, right? So,
Shay,
mm,
give thanks.
Have a blessed day.
Have a blessed
Ashe. Big
day.
thanks,
Have a
family.
blessed day.
Peace
Ashe,
and blessings.
giving thanks,
Ashe.
peace and blessings.
Peace and
Blessings,
Giving
blessings,
blessings.
thanks.
son.
Peace and
Peace and
blessings.
blessings.
Thank you so much.
Give thanks.
I love to see you all in your element.
Mhm.
Oh, I appreciate you
Yeah,
so much, sis. Like, I really
beautiful,
do.
beautiful.
Giving thanks for you.
Giving
Ashe.
thanks.